Nathan Lawrence here again. Round 2. Time to load the cannon and fire the shot. I don't think this video is going to be quite as ear-burning as the last one. It might be, it depends. But I give it all to Yehovah Elohim, the creator of the universe, to use me however he wants. I don't care about my reputation. My reputation doesn't mean squat. What matters is what he thinks. I don't care what you think, and you shouldn't care what I think. All we should care about is what does the word of Elohim, the Bible, the thing that will judge us, the word, the character, the will, the mind of Elohim, that's what will judge us and determine our eternal fate. Whether we will be with our Creator in heaven for eternity, or we will be thrown in the lake of fire with all the other unrepentant, arrogant, hard-hearted sinners who refuse to accept the truth of Yehovah Elohim. Not my truth. My truth doesn't mean anything, but the truth of the creator of the universe as revealed in the scriptures, the Bible. So, as I said in my last video, I just got done with COVID. Yeah, COVID. I was flat on my back in bed for 2 weeks, staring at the ceiling. Couldn't even get out of bed. That's how weak I was. Lost 15 pounds. For the first 4 or 5 days, I couldn't eat anything. I'd throw it right back up again. I was so sick. And I want to tell you, I haven't been that sick since 2006, when I was visiting the Rocky Mountains up on somebody's ranch, and I got sick along with all the other people up there and the family and my kids and my wife. Come to find out, a rat fell into the family water supply, and we were drinking that rat-infested, disease-laden water out of the tap of their house. And when I got home back to Oregon, I was sick for at least 3 weeks with, best we could tell, cryptosporidium. And again, I didn't care if I lived or died. It was that bad. And I haven't been that sick until I just had COVID. And I want to tell you, for those of you that have experienced it, and some people it's not that bad. And my heart goes out to anybody that's experienced it. That or cancer or heart disease or whatever. I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm going to tell you, when you've been laying on your back for 2 weeks and you can't keep any food down, you got a lot of time to think. A lot of time to think. And suddenly a lot of things come into focus like they didn't before. Stuff that you thought was important isn't that important anymore. Things that people around you, are talking about all the time and laughing about it and arguing about this and arguing about that, and this is my opinion and this is what God says and this is what this prophet over here says and this is my interpretation of the Bible and this is what my pastor is saying and this is what this, that, and everything else. And when you've been laying there sick, suddenly all that other stuff really doesn't matter. What matters is life and death. And when you're standing on the edge of the pit looking over, you don't know if you're going to live or die. You don't know if you're going to get better or get worse and eventually die. You don't know. When you're in the middle of it, you don't know. Yeah, you hope, but you don't know. And that's where I was until about 3 days ago. And I'll tell you, I came away with some stuff. And I'm probably not going to make too many friends, but then I don't have too many friends anyway. The only friends I care about are those that love Yeshua. And the only ultimate friend is my friend in heaven. And that should be your method of approach as well. That should be where your priorities are. And if they're not, then you're screwed up. Anyway, that's a whole other discussion. Got to get our priorities straight, folks. This is about life and death. This lifetime that we're living in is a temporary blip on the screen. And before you know it, it's gone. You never know if the next breath that you take will be your last one. The next heartbeat, gift from heaven. Every heartbeat is a gift from heaven. You don't know if it'll be your last one. You don't know if you're going to get in that car and drive down the road and that'll be the last you know because somebody hit you or who knows what, or now you're paralyzed. Or like a couple of my friends who recently just got brain aneurysms and they up and died. They were people in our congregation, a husband and wife. They got a brain aneurysm within a month or so of each other, a couple months of each other, and they're both dead. And they're survived by their 28-year-old son. Yeah, nobody was expecting that. One was 50 in their 50s, the other one was not quite 70. There were people that had been in our congregation for years and years and years, the congregation that I pastored for 18 years. And boom, they're gone just like that. Now, I know that they were right with Yah. Their name was written in the Lamb's Book of Life. But what about you? Are you sure? Do you have a relationship with Yeshua? Or are you just living in your own little spiritual fantasy world? Because the church of your choice that you go to has tickled your ears into believing lies. And you're one of those false converts that Yeshua talked about. That's among the wheat, the tares that are among the wheat. They're going to get burned, they're going to get collected out in the end days and gathered together and thrown in the fire. Oh yeah. 90% of Christians fit that category according to the most scientific polling done by the most reputable polling groups that use the Bible as a criteria. Oh yeah. He who thinks he stands, take heed lest he fall. So, as I was laying there in bed, I had a lot of time to think about a lot of things. And I'll tell you one thing I'm sick and tired of, and that's arguing with people. Arguing about this and arguing about that. You know, when you're laying potentially on your deathbed, you don't have time to argue anymore. Everything becomes suddenly crystal clear. You're either going to live or you're going to die. And I'll tell you what I'm sick of arguing about. I'm sick of arguing about COVID. Guys, we're being played. We're being manipulated. Your brains are being played, like molded by social engineers and by demon-possessed pedophiles and God-forsaken doctors and politicians. And your brain is being played with like silly putty, and they're manipulating it. And you're stupid enough to believe what you hear on the news. I read about, I tap into about 30 different news sources. And this one says that, and this one says that, and CNN says this, and Fox says that, and Fauci, the bastard, the devil worshiper, God-forsaken person, is saying that. And this leader over here, the president of Austria, is saying that. And the president of New Zealand and Australia and the premier of this and that, they're all saying different things. Or they're saying the same thing. Bill Gates is saying this, and the social media gurus, the devil worshiper, Luciferian, God-hating, Christian, Bible-hating people on social media that control the social media are saying this and this and this and this. And then they're all saying different things against each other. And then one minute they say this, and the next minute they say that. And guess what? We're all a bunch of stupid little sheeple down here arguing about it. Arguing about the garbage that they're spilling out all over the place. Oh, well, I heard this doctor say that. Well, I heard that doctor say that. Oh, I heard this virologist say that. Oh, this politician said that. Oh, this bozo over here says that masks work. That bozo over there said they don't work. This one says that you can catch it through the air. This one says you can catch it through touching your nose and picking your rear end and wiping your face on the counter or whatever. This one over here says, well, if you got to be 6 feet distance. And that one says, no, and you sneeze, it's going to be, your sneeze is going to go out 20 or 30 or 40 feet. And then the water droplets are going to float in the air for 4, 5, 6 hours. And then if you happen to walk in the middle of that, you're going to suck it up, and there it goes. Now you got it. And on and on and on. And we spend all of our time arguing about this stuff like we're a bunch of experts, which none of us are. Oh, and then you do quote an expert, somebody who really does know what they're talking about. And oh yeah, I'll believe CNN, and I'll believe Fox News, and I'll believe Trump and Biden, the bumbling buffoon, and I will believe Fauci, and I'll believe whoever and whatever. But because your doctor doesn't agree with me, then I'm going to disagree with him because I don't agree with him because it doesn't fit my normalcy bias and my the decisions I've already made up and my confirmation bias, and therefore if I believe this, then I'm going to have to do that, and if I don't believe this, I'm going to have to do that, and I'm going to believe Pfizer, and I'm going to believe Moderna, and then I'm going to not believe what they say because now their vice president just came out and said, don't take it because it'll kill you. And then this other guy comes out here who claims to be the vice president of that and says, no, yeah, you go ahead and take it. I've taken it, and I've only got myocarditis, and I'm dying of liver failure and God knows what. But hey, it's better than not having nothing. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. So what is my point? My point is this. There's only one thing that matters. One thing and one thing only. And it's time for you and me and the rest of us to get out of the frickin' closet. There's all these perverts that are coming out of the closet. Oh, I'm a queer, I'm a lesbian, I'm a gay, I'm a homo, whatever. I'm a gender dysphoria, psychopathic, ridiculous, idiotic, confused, whatever. I feel sorry for the people. But you got all of this stuff and, oh, we're proud. We're going to march on the streets because now I'm going to compete I'm a guy, but I'm going to compete as a girl in the swimming, and I'm going to win the race and win the gold medal and forget all these other people, these biological girls and tennis players and hockey players and whatever, mixed martial arts. I'm a dude, and I'm going to get in and I'm going to crack some skulls, and I'm going to show everybody how great I am because I've been on steroids or gender therapy for the last year, which now proves I'm a whatever. So all these people are coming out of the closet, and the media is going, oh wow, look at all these people, oh, new world records, oh, let them into the Olympics and all that, and anybody that goes against that idea, and anybody that goes against the stupidity of genetics and of true science, and calls somebody that's a female a male and vice versa. Oh, well, they're anti-science and they're anti-this and they're anti-that. Guys, everything is upside down. Why argue? Why argue with fools? They're all a bunch of fools because they have turned away from Elohim. The Bible says the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. And these people are a bunch of godless devil worshipers. All of them. I don't care if they quote the Bible or not. The devil can quote the Bible. He quoted the Bible to Yeshua. But he misquoted it, and he took it out of context, and he twisted it and perverted it. He quoted the word of Elohim to Adam and Eve, the snake in the tree. And look where that got everybody. So just because these guys can quote the Bible, one verse out of the entire Bible, doesn't mean squat. And you're stupid enough to believe them? Oh, man. So what really matters? I'll tell you what matters. One thing and one thing only. If all those perverts, LGBTQXYZWX, whatever, can come out of the closet and brag about, whatever their psychosis is, their mental illness, and they really do need help. They need deliverance and they need help. And for those that are falling into that trap, the arms of Yeshua are open wide at the cross, and he can straighten you out, and he can get you turned around so that you can have a meaningful, wonderful life once you get disconnected from all this satanic, Luciferian garbage that you've sucked up like a pig in a pig trough. But what matters is that the Christians, those who truly know Yeshua HaMashiach, it's time for us to come out of the closet. It's time for us to get bold. It's time for us to get serious about our spiritual walk. I'm so tired of arguing with people. I read all of this stuff. I read scientific reports. I read what the experts are saying on this side and on that side. I'm reading all of this data from, dozens of different news sites. And it's all conflicting, and who knows what the truth is. And there comes a point, and you argue with people, and you argue, and you argue, and argue, and you end up in a stalemate. So what's the point? The point is this. We need to point them to Yeshua and forget about what people think about you. Forget about if they think you're a Bible thumper or a Jesus freak or whatever. Who gives a rip? All this other stuff is going to go by the wayside. When Yeshua comes back, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, he's going to take his sword of truth and the sword of the Spirit, and he's going to just wipe the slate clean. And the devil and the false prophet and the man of sin and all the rest of them are going to get thrown in the pit, in the lake of fire and in the pit. And that's where they're going to be. And the only ones that stand are those that have a relationship with him. Guys, there's nothing else out there. Nothing. You can lean the ladder of your life up against this wall or that wall or whatever, but it's coming down. The wall of Fauci, the wall of vaccinations, the wall of putting your faith and trust in pharmakeia. I'm not saying all drugs are bad. I'm not that myopic. But I'll tell you something. You go read the book of Revelation, and it says that great men of the earth are the merchants. And by their sorceries, by their drugs, by their pharmakeia, by all the stuff that they use to control people's thinking and control what they do and what they don't do and how they think and how they act and react through use of drugs of all kinds. It says they make slaves out of these people. I don't want to be a slave to the Babylon, the great New World Order. I'm a slave to Yeshua the Messiah, a slave who bought me with his spilled blood and paid for my sins. Hallelujah. And I will worship him. And I'm getting to the point where when people want to start talking about COVID, I start talking to them about Yeshua. I start talking to them. I did that today. I'm bidding a job. And I'm looking at these trees and I'm going to bid a job. And this guy, I've known him for years, great guy. And he wants to, we're talking about COVID. He found out that I had COVID and all of this. And then we got talking about it. Next thing you know, I am asking him how he's doing spiritually. I'm saying that there's only one answer. His name is Yeshua. Guys, it's time that we start growing a pair of cojones If you're a woman, I don't know what what you need to grow, but you know what I mean. Stand up. Stand up for Yeshua. Start declaring his name and declaring his praises and declaring the joy of the Lord is my strength. It is the power of the resurrected Yeshua that raised me up out of my deathbed. And that's why I'm coming out fighting. I'm tired of arguing with people. I'm tired of getting into pissing matches over who's got the most head knowledge about the COVID and about this and about that. It's like, let's just get them over onto Yeshua and be done with it and start sharing with them the good news, because that's the only good news there is. There's nothing that's going to get you out of this world alive. I don't care how many booster shots you get. I don't care how many government mandates, how many masks you stack up on your face. Nothing's going to get you out of this life, this world alive, except your relationship with Yeshua. And it's time that we start telling people that. Okay? Yeah, I'm angry, but I'm also passionate. Don't make a mistake and judge my passion and call it anger and arrogance. There's a big difference, and one of these days I'll talk about that. I guarantee you, when Paul and Peter and Yeshua were out there preaching the gospel, and Isaiah and Jeremiah, they were passionate. It wasn't Mr. Rogers in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. No, they all died for what they believed. They all gave their lives, and they all stood up. Some of them were imprisoned, and some of them were beaten and sawn in half. Go read the book of Hebrews chapter 11. Some of them were crucified. Some of them were crucified upside down. Some of them were stoned like Stephen. Oh yeah. There was passion. They weren't a bunch of namby-pamby, panty-waist, tip-throat to the tulip snowflakes. That's not going to get you anywhere. Not in this world where the devil's playing for keeps. So I encourage you, get on your face. Repent of your sin of lukewarmness and get right with Jehovah. And let the power of the resurrected Yeshua flow through your life. And be a river of life to those around you. Give people a kick in the butt. A kick in the derriere. A kick in the behind. Stir them up. Hit them across the face with the love and the power of Yeshua. And challenge them to repent. And challenge them to get right. Challenge them to come to the cross. But you got to get yourself challenged first. Problem is, too many of you are sound asleep. And you love the praises of men more than the praises of Elohim. Well, shame on you. When was the last time you witnessed to anybody? When was the last time you were rejected because you shared the gospel? I'll guarantee you, when you're rejected by men, but you're accepted by him, oh, I'll tell you, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it to know the fellowship of Yeshua's sufferings. So I encourage you, those of you who've had the gall and the nerve to not turn this video off and shut this voice crying in the wilderness off, but you have listened to this video all the way through. God bless you for that. You will be blessed for that because you're hearing the truth and you know it. And I encourage you, when you turn this video off, get on your face and seek Yah and just begin to take steps in the right direction. You're not going to necessarily be a firebrand preacher overnight. You're not going to necessarily be, turning the world upside down, but you can at least start to take steps. Ask Yah to give you steps you can take. Little baby steps. And see if that doesn't make a difference. Start revival in your own heart, in your own mind, in your own life right now. And then, who knows, maybe you can actually start a revival around you, around at least a couple people around you. And see what that does for your spiritual life. See what that does for your love for Yeshua. See what that does for hearing him, his voice, and getting prayers answered and all of that. Oh yeah, try it. Try it. It might just be the thing that ignites the passion of your first love that you lost a long time ago. It's time to get it back. Okay, this is Nathan Lawrence. God bless you all. I love you. Elohim bless you. I preach myself silly. And thank you for listening. And again, I don't want your money. I don't need your approval. I don't need any of that. I'm just doing what I've been called to do. Fire shut up in my bones. And if this video's been a blessing to you, then pass it on to somebody else. And maybe we can get a fire revival going. Let's hope and pray. For the glory of Yeshua, not for my glory. I don't have any glory, but for his glory. That's what this is all about. Nothing more, nothing less. Yah bless you. Shalom.